The YW, the women's Y, it should go back up, number one. And PRA apparently didn't do enough to make sure to let all the developers know and to do something to make sure everyone had a chance to be a part of this. And I realized that there's not too many big, large size minority developers, and the ones that are off doing jobs. Oh, that's so pretty. But what you could do, and it's like, if we can say it, they can do it. But everybody just not thinking like, hey, we're going to let this slide till they say so. I don't care if you have to get 2 or 3 different Black developers together to make it happen. And bring in a white one and an Asian one and an Indian one. But it should be, if you can't get one big one, then break it down to 3 minorities. Get an all-woman contractor in there, and maybe that one's the one doing the plumbing, and then another one's doing it. But make it happen so the kids can see it, the community can see it, and the money stays in the community. Like, these people are coming in from someplace else doing this work. They're not hiring the people in the community, and the money's going out. It's like everybody is benefiting from our stuff, and they keep trying to say they're helping us, but you're not helping me. You need to help me right now, not 5 years or 3 years when it's built. We need help right now. So why can't we have those jobs? Why aren't we teaching the kids? Why are all these schools charter schools and not trade schools? If they really wanted to, and I wrote a letter to Kenny and put in an application to meet him, and I haven't heard anything. And I said, I have the answer to stop the violence and cut the number in half. And if it doesn't get cut in half, I'll write a check for $5,000. I actually said that. Haven't heard from him, because I am positive if you just take the schools and keep something basic. I'm not talking about a 5-year initiative. It takes whatever that school is. Somebody comes in and assess it. What trades can we put in this school right now that doesn't take a buttload of money? So if it ends up being droning, you only need a teacher and some computers for that. You see what I'm saying? You don't need to put on another wing. You just need a certified teacher that knows how to teach droning and 20 computers, or kids that buy their own damn laptop and come in and learn. And now you got a whole drone program. Same thing with gaming and coding. So maybe one of the schools might be big enough to do HVAC. Then let them do HVAC. Electrical only takes 1 or 2 rooms. I went to Orleans Technical Trade School and actually looked at it. It's not big at all. So all these things could be implemented. What I would love to really talk about is Germantown High School. That is a beautiful piece of property with the original City Hall across the street. I would love to see the City Hall be a fine dining area where people can have weddings, like Yerkes that used to be out on Baltimore Pike. You pay $100 or $200 to get married. That should be that, because then that would symbolize bringing family back together. And the biggest problem in the Black community and with the violence, 72% of all the kids are being raised by single moms. So we have to bring back the family unit. That means getting married. So if we made something really pretty in a dining thing where you could maybe have a wedding for maybe $2,000 to $5,000 instead of the 20. Now you're starting off in the positive, not in debt. And now we're publicizing and supporting people getting married. We could say on certain days you can get married for free, like on a Wednesday or Thursday. On the weekend, it's costing you a couple $1,000, but it's still going to be cheaper than the hotels downtown. Now with the high school, if we added a hotel to that high school and specialty stores on the bottom, then the kids in the school could have a whole curriculum on hotel hospitality, and they could be the workers for the hotel.
Right, because there's a whole commercial kitchen in the basement there, right?
Germantown doesn't have a hotel. That's why my Airbnb does pretty good. People are like, you really? Yes, people could, because there is no hotel in Germantown. And sometimes you want to be right here. But could you imagine how nice that would look? It seems like every time we get a big property, all they want to do is apartments for seniors or affordable living, which $1,200 and up. And we're saturating the community with a heck of a lot of people all at once with no parking and no way to keep money circulating in the community. So I would prefer to see things, even at the women's Y, specialty stores. strike a deal and bring in Victoria's Secret or something like that. Something that you would never even think of. Bring in Ash's chocolate. I mean, I'm being a little bit funny, but you understand what I'm saying. Bring in some stuff that you would not see. And then as far as the crime area, bring in the top-notch security cameras and hook them right up right away with the police being able to see everything. And I remember, because I told you I'm from West Philly, and I used to have a real problem on 52nd Street. That's one of the areas I'm really from, and people know me. And we had a situation where the stores were I said, why don't y'all get together and 2 or 3 stores hire one security guard and split the cost? Just the fact that you have a security guard and he stands outside or inside or just volleys between
around or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I mean, everybody keeps saying it's a no-brainer. Like, it's things you can do. Especially you could bring in a really nice jewelry shop. We can think about all the different things that are special, and we can reroute the roads and stuff. So if somebody tries to do something stupid, you're not really getting out there quick enough. Speed bumps. The one-way streets in the back. But there's a way to make it really, and that would be beautiful to have something other than just housing.
Or they can do the CMX, which is the commercial on the bottom, and then the housing
exactly.
So when you're at street level, it might as well be just all stores, but we don't.
I think so, because I wouldn't want my house on a busy street or my apartment on a busy street. So you're absolutely right. And by putting, stores that are on the bottom and smaller ones that small businesses can be there, those would probably be the people that would just make it feel like home in a community and look out for the people upstairs. And you had a park right there beside it. Heck, I would want one of put a rooftop deck up there too, and a gym room. They're good to go.
A layer of parking. Maybe
they got to do something. They have to start considering some parking.
Yeah, right.
I know a lot of people coming from New York don't have cars, so it doesn't bother them. And if you notice, a lot of these buildings are going up where they have where it's close to transportation, so you can hop on a bus or whatever. But they should still consider parking. Everybody's not going to do Uber.
Right. Well, there's also you can get totally creative with parking and make like a parking garage with the garden on the rooftop that the community can use as like a meeting space or a community garden or whatever.
If you have enough positive things going on, then the people start getting really positive. They start getting involved. When they have a stake or ownership, then they care. That's another thing. So a garden on a roof for someone that might not have anything but an apartment might be enough for them to say, I'm not going to throw trash down. Or when I see something, I'm going to say something. There's some other laws they could put in there, the same way they have the thing where now you can't stop anybody for a busted tail light. You as a citizen, if you see somebody throwing trash out the car and you happen to catch it on video, they should be able to turn that video on, and that person gets a prize or a stipend or something, because we need to make people start caring. But but in a way that's not violent or aggressive. So, and I think if we start having meetings and ask people for their suggestions, I noticed that on one of the meeting that we had at King High School about the violence, keep having meetings. So I put on Facebook, I said, why don't people come to the meeting and bring their suggestions, write them down? And sure enough, when we got to the meeting, they had pads up front and they were taking people's suggestions down. But yet again, it was just another meeting where I haven't heard anything where they actually took the ideas and started implementing them. So people love to come to meetings.
Ideas cost money. Ideas cost money.
Well, I just gave you ideas that literally would make you money. A hotel at a high school would make that high school money and the city money.
But it costs. Businessmen have to look at the cost of that. What does that cost to train somebody? Electricity, utilities, cost. The cost is always a factor, and that's one thing we always have to remember. Everything that is progressive, it costs. And the other thing I want to add to what you said, which was excellent stuff, was that we're dealing in a lost value system.
Yeah,
and in order to change people's values, you have to look at what was statistically. The census has showed that when we had African American communities had family, there was less crime.
Most definitely.
Today we have to worry, even if we evolve into this new business ideas, we have to worry about the element of crime.
Yes.
The thing is, what was different back then that reduced crime? It was the value system, and it was the institutions in place. Schools that had what you said, trades, extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Now we have communities
Religion.
that have the resources moved out. When I was a kid, we had 3 recreation centers I could go to: East Germantown, Waterview, and Albury. I lived in the middle. You had 3 schools and 2 high schools. Now you look at, we have a charter school, 2 charter schools that used to be public schools, God knows in the name of Martin Luther King, and 1 high school.
Right.
Where are all the children going?
Jail. They're throwing them all in jail.
That's right.
Remember, in the 90s, they made it privatized, and then they started mass incarceration.
Right.
All the families are broken up.
That's right.
And they're blaming communities while they're taking all the men. And
But they're taking out the resources. And when you take resources from a community, 2 things happen. You have an attitude, a value of hunger and lack. And then you have this crime element coming in, the need to survive. And when you have that going, and there's no resources and no jobs and no opportunities, and you have political people pulling out, and dealing with that and just putting a Band-Aid on it, this is where we look at the history now. So we can sort of like look at that map and say, how do we bring back a value system, and then put money behind it to bring back a culture and a community that values itself.